A distrust of science and government is leading some parents to question the safety of vaccines. Add to that a ban on religious exemptions in the state of New York, and the legal challenge now underway. Tonight, the News 4 Investigates team talks to local parents who want a choice and the doctors who stand behind the science. Luke Moretti has more on the vaccine debate.
Four Western New York parents with vaccine concerns.
My main concern is the religious exemption being taken away.
Some have doubts about safety.
We don't know, okay? And we continue not to look.
It's an issue that's become deeply personal.
I've lived this life for 21 years.
Many in the medical community say it's time to get serious about prevention, pointing to an outbreak of measles. The number of cases this year reached 1,109 across 28 states as of last week.
This is a wake-up call for us as a country.
But the subject of childhood vaccines has prompted polarized debates.
This industry lies to us all the time.
I want to know what questions folks have.
Dr. Dennis Quo, a University at Buffalo associate professor of pediatrics, believes the vaccine debate is based in fears, not science.
It's based in fears that are often reasonable questions. You know, any fear that's out there needs to be addressed through rational debates, through science that can be repeatedly examined and proven.
And the science, according to Dr. Thomas Russo, a UB professor who specializes in infectious disease.
Of all the medical treatments that are approved that we use to prevent and treat diseases, vaccines are by far the safest of all of these interventions.
But like a lot of things, vaccines are not 100% effective, and injuries do happen. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, like any medical intervention, vaccines also entail risk. Vaccine reactions are generally mild, but they can rarely be severe. In fact, the federal government reports that the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program has paid out around $4 billion in claims over 3 decades.
I did believe in vaccines.
About 6 months after Dana Giroux gave birth to her 3rd child, Noah, she sensed something was different. Medical tests, she says, determined that Noah, now in his 20s, was born deaf and blind.
His brain never formed the connections, never formed those areas to actually take in sight or take in hearing.
Dana says when she became pregnant with Noah, a doctor told her that she needed a vaccination for measles, mumps, and rubella to increase the antibodies in her blood. She remembers having a severe reaction, but was told it was normal and not to worry. She says no forms were filled out to document the adverse reaction. Dana suspects that Noah's brain condition has something to do with the vaccine she was given.
I've talked to doctors about this, and they said, you know, they don't want to say it's the vaccine necessarily, but, they say things like, I would find it hard to believe that the vaccine wasn't somehow involved.
When something dramatic or catastrophic happens to your child, people want answers. Vaccines, I think, have become a target for some families that are looking for answers. We believe strongly in the safety and the effectiveness of vaccines. We stand behind the science.
Tim Eisenhower says 2 of his children were immunized and suffered high fevers. He was told that's one of the side effects.
My 2 kids ended up getting diagnosed as autistic.
That's led Tim to question the safety of vaccines and the way clinical trials are conducted.
Having the people that develop vaccines also be the watchdog is a recipe for disaster.
You've never had a medical professional or a doctor or anything be able to kind of lay it out for you and say, this is the reason it happened. They can't point to anything specific.
No doctor will do that. Ever. Okay, no? Ever. No doctor will ever do that.
But Dr. Thomas Russo,
this science is unequivocal.
Says it's been studied.
There has been over 10 high-quality studies and an Institute of Medicine review panel that has unequivocally established there is no connection between the MMR vaccine and autism.
It's very difficult to discern what is truth and what is fiction.
Monica Stevens, an assistant professor at UB, specializes in social media misinformation. She says the same Russian bots banned and identified for interfering with the 2016 election also promoted vaccine misinformation online.
One of the reasons is to create content pollution and to promote discord within the vaccine debate in online social media.
For some parents, it's not about a question of safety as much as the right to choose. On Wednesday, cheers from parents and kids outside an Albany court as lawyers filed a lawsuit against the state of New York. The legal challenge attempts to overturn a new state law that bars parents from refusing to vaccinate their children on religious grounds.
They called the people who had religious exemptions frauds, fabricators, liars. That is active hostility to religion, which the Supreme Court, as recently as 2017, said cannot motivate or animate public policy.
Quinia Ashimaat is a practicing Muslim, homeschooling her 2 children. She opposes vaccines based on religious reasons because of some of the ingredients.
I'm willing to just leave the country if necessary. If every state decided to say we're taking the religious exemption away, we don't have a choice. I'm not going to forego my religious beliefs because of fear and the vaccination mandates.
Minister David Mohammed
is a slippery slope.
Is another parent impacted by the state's move to shut down the religious exemption.
My concern is this, this erosion of civil liberties, erosion of parental rights, and the ability to be able to choose.
Now, we also reviewed state data to determine the percentage of students who used religious exemptions at Western New York school districts. Our analysis found that the highest percentage is just above 3%, while most school districts are well below that number. You can review data for all of the schools on WIVB.com. Just look for the story, click on it, and scroll down. Luke Moretti, News 4.
Still to come at 6, millions of dollars are coming into the city to help children who want to pursue a higher education. We'll tell you where that money is coming from.